right, gentlemen, we already went over the rules. Make sure you protect yourself, come out fighting, and keep fighting until I say stop. Touch gloves, head to the corner.
Scheduled for three 5-minute rounds in the LFA lightweight division. Bobby Lee and Ashkan Morvari. Lee in the black with white, Morvari black with red.
Boy, Lee's pre-fight warm-up in the corner alone was making me tired. Oh, hard inside low kick. Against the southpaw, Morvari. Bobby Lee trains under a great fighter and wrestler in Brock Larson.
The UFC vet, he had an incredible career.
Yeah, UFC, WEC. A very well-rounded athlete at that. Oh, another inside low kick lands for Lee, finding a home for it.
Morvari knew that Lee would come out. He said he feels like he will try to bulldoze me. He just needs to weather the storm as he blitzes in, counter-strike. He does feel that Lee is a bit wild and can take advantage of some openings and possibly submit him.
Well, Lee definitely has a penchant for aggression, and his chin does hang a little high as Morvari here takes a shot. Lee with the double wrist lock.
He's got that arm, and Morvari pops out. Fighters right in front of us.
And Morvari was trying to come up with that body lock, that double underhook, but Lee able to pull the leg out from underneath him, and now to the floor they are as Morvari is using an elevator there with his right leg. Trying to tilt Lee.
Lee won victory by way of TKO knockout, 4 submission wins.
Now into side control. Reaching between the legs there is Lee to kill that underhook. If possible, keep him flat on his back to pin Morvari here. Now transitioning, maybe looking for the double wrist lock on the arm there. Head and arm control. Cross side, in the side control position is Lee. Morvari very flat on his back. He's got that left leg up to avoid for the mount.
Bobby Lee has finished fights both on his feet and the ground. A decorated high school wrestler here in Minnesota. I liked how he described his style, from bell to bell assault.
Very accurate. He's looking to step over the head. That's a setup I like to use a lot myself from side control. Now also looking to find a home with the right elbows as he takes a few right elbows off the bottom from Ashkan.
This is a good position to be in to make sure he doesn't blow his load too early.
Agreed. It would be a little soon to find a finish. But the patience here in Bobby Lee may be something he's been working on.
Yeah, absolutely. Said he needs to relax a little bit, come in there, and when you describe your style as bell-to-bell assault, it pretty much makes it sound like you're not going to stop and take your foot off the gas, but he did realize that, hey, last time he gassed out, needs to keep it in control a little bit.
Lee here, north-south, looking to get a mounted front choke, but Ashkan able to get his chin down, looking for an elevator. Now trying to get his base under him to get the single leg as Lee sprawling hard. Lee now in the front headlock, looking for the choke. Again, now it looks like he's under the chin. Ashkan hustling underneath though.
Lee lets go of the neck and plants Morvari's head to the canvas.
He's for sure keeping composure. You can tell it's in the back of his mind that he needs to keep this pace low and consistent so he can take it as far as he needs to take it.
Getting the wrist control there. Trying to frame up that double wrist lock. Now blocking the hip. Trying to keep Ashkan pinned down and keep that arm isolated is Bobby Lee.
Lee just smothering Morvari here in this first round.
Morvari getting his base and getting the single leg. Using a crack back to put Lee onto his back, but Lee still fighting.
"30 seconds to go in round one."
Elevating the heel there, Morvari. He would definitely be getting near fall right now, but this is not wrestling. Oh, and the stocks position turns over Morvari. Now we got a scramble here. Double wrist lock from Lee. Morvari behind with the waist lock. Riding with some punches.
And Morvari throwing some leather right in front of us. And a big elbow sneaks through.
Yeah, nasty back elbows there from Morvari. Lee still fighting and getting out without receiving the worst of it, but strong finish to the round from Morvari. He's going back to that corner with some confidence.
And just like he said, he figured that Lee would come out firing. He just needed to take his time, look for the openings, and possibly get that submission. Morvari, 8 wins coming by way of submission. Blue belt and BJJ. Very solid wrestling base.
Here goes Lee. Nice high kick there. Blocked by Morvari. Now going inside and low. Morvari not picking up on it. Almost getting his leg cut clean off. Lee looking for the mounted front choke. Doesn't have it. Morvari scrambles out and bam, goes to the double wrist lock. But Morvari with the waist control manages to ride out the rest of this round. Score some shots, one to the back of the head there. Then some of those back elbows. Put Lee in danger. Have him feeling pretty good, I bet, going back to the corner and feeling like he can stay in this fight, maybe take it away from Lee. I still gave Lee the first round.
Now an interesting point as we move into the second round. Bobby Lee said he has been working on his cardio since that last fight where he gassed out.
Ooh, hard round kick, scores onto the shoulder, guys. Not to the head, nothing illegal about it.
Let's quickly check in with Katzengano in Bobby Lee's corner.
Coach over there in the blue corner was telling him to utilize and beat up that front leg kick, using it to get to the ground, and then once you're at the ground, just grind him out until the man doesn't want to go anymore, and then use it.
Thank you, Kat.
Right now we got Lee on top of Morvari after that exchange. We're started with a jumping knee attempt, which Lee said he wanted to finish by, as Lee's going for that double wrist lock. Again, this time from half guard. Morvari using an elevator to kick it off, but Lee staying on the double wrist lock. Morvari trying to come out the back door, now getting to the front choke.
What a transition there from Morvari. And now it's Lee spinning out.
Gator rolling left and right.
He's
Lee
got that neck.
now going to the neck himself, trying to get that mount, drop his hips in. Morvari keeping his hips up.
How much trouble is Morvari in right now, Josh?
It's not a good place to be, but Morvari seems very, very aware of what Lee needs to do and able to shut off that path to the finish. Morvari now looking to come up. He's getting cross-face, but beautiful transition there out the back door, but not getting his base up underneath him, and Lee's able to capitalize. Well, these guys just everywhere right now.
If you like the ground game of MMA, you're loving this right now. Lee and Morvari all over each other.
Series of scrambles between the two, which end up with Lee now back firmly on top, looking to possibly implement that grinding game plan that Kat was telling us about, that his corner was suggesting. If you're down here, Kat, what are you thinking? If you're Lee, what would you do?
I mean, that head pressure right there is something really hard to deal with. And on top of it, having someone's back pinned completely flat on the ground, I mean, you need to get up on one hip or the other. Sitting there on your back, I mean, anything from there is a lot of effort, which ends up being what he's talking about with the grind out.
Just past the midway point here, round number 2, scheduled for 3. LFA 20 in the Mystic Lake Casino. Great crowd here in Minnesota.
Lee's output has slowed down quite a bit. Morvari here, little chip shots here and there, but honestly nothing that's going to get him off his back or win this fight for him. So I think he needs to start trying to build towards something more substantial. Otherwise, he's just going to lose this round by just being underneath Lee for the majority of it.
Well, and to be on the bottom right now is much more exhausting than to be on the top.
True. Here comes the scrambles again. Morvari trying to follow that underhook, does so, gets to his base. Lee attacking the front choke again. And here they start rolling.
That looks tight. Now again, Morvari's able to almost get out, but Lee just keeps relentlessly grabbing that neck.
Well, Morvari's got a single leg, head inside. Lee sprawling. Now with that crackback. Oh, wow, nice. Lee using the double wrist lock, trying to get him off his leg. Cross-facing, keeping that wrist ride on the opposite side is Lee. Lee being very aggressive about trying to trap that near arm, now trying to take the back. Morvari with hand control.
Impressive defense from Morvari.
Morvari's got the hand control stuck. He's going to have to work to get that right arm across. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to initiate any real offense. Coming out the back, whizzer from Lee. Whoever's higher in the whizzer battle wins. Morvari drops in on the low single, and Lee is just trying to find that opportunity to just crack him in the face.
Some hammer fist delivered from Bobby Lee. And Morvari now on the back of Lee.
This is when you got to start questioning that gas tank. Is this taking a break, or is this it? Is this what he's talking about? Is this the load blown?
Is this the load blown? The blown load
We are not sure.
Bobby Lee. However, I can't understand why Bobby Lee wants to continue to get into a wrestling match with a wrestler. As he inserts his head right into the front headlock of Morvari, but the round ends.
And Bobby Lee struggling to get back up on his feet.
Bobby Lee looking to be the more fatigued fighter out of the two.
And he's the one that's 18 years younger than Morvari. And there's the 39-year-old Ashkan Morvari. It's only his second fight since 2011. Bobby Lee getting some advice from Brock Larson.
That wrestling from Morvari showing that he can be in here hanging and giving some trouble to that young, aggressive prospect in Lee. Gotta imagine Larson's telling him to score with those hands more.
You ready? You ready?
I got Lee ahead, but it ain't by much.
So as we start round number 3, Kat, if you were in Morvari's corner, what advice would you give him?
I would definitely gain some confidence from the fact that he just reversed the end of that last round. I mean, especially with the side note and fact that he notoriously gasses. This is something that I'm sure is going to build a little bit of pump up in his step right now.
Morvari drops in on that single leg attempt. Lee sprawls and Lee drives in himself, but caught in a front headlock. Potential front choke situation by Morvari with an elevator inside. He's got the neck, he's got an elevator, he switched, he was over the arm, then he went under the arm, back over the arm again, trying to manipulate the neck to reverse or submit Lee after Lee dove in there for the double.
Fighters right in front of us, sweat pouring off the head of Morvari. Might make it just wet enough for Bobby Lee to pop his head out. He's struggling though.
Well, Morvari is doing some damage here. Well, I call it damage, but you can see that Lee was turning a bit purple. Now Lee on top, scoring with those short punches, stuffing Morvari into the cage, finding those short-range hooks.
Bobby
now
Lee
looking for the head and arm choke, the side choke. Katagata me.
That
Cejudo.
looks tight.
That is not
Bobby Lee's
a way
corner
to defend
yelling.
this choke.
Tight, Bobby, tight.
And look at Lee pushing off from the cage, putting Morvari into as close to the center of the cage as possible, which I call no man's land. Morvari just not really giving much in the way of defense. He needs to bridge and punch away.
That being said, he also has his arm across his face. His neck is protected at this point. The jaw is still engaged. Not that this doesn't suck.
For sure, Bobby Lee hanging on.
Gotta wonder how much Bobby Lee is putting into this choke right now. Looks like Morvari, is he looking to tap? Is he giving the hover hand there?
Well, and should Morvari get out right now, those arms are going to be tired.
And he does.
Lee lets go. Morvari capitalizes. Lee looking fatigued.
And Morvari landing some hammer fists. Now Lee's on his back.
Morvari trying to pour it on. Perhaps sensing the opportunity.
Non-stop scrambles, non-stop transitions. All over the mat in this one.
Lee trying to get his base up underneath him. Morvari keeping that inside leg turked. Now going back to half guard, now scrambling, trying to turn into him again as Morvari racking up the punches, but I don't know if that's enough. Front choke attempt from Morvari.
Morvari looking to end this, as Bobby Lee could be in some trouble right in front of us.
Lee's trying to pass. He gets out of the guard of Morvari, but Morvari still has the front headlock. Now transitioning to the three-quarter Nelson. No, not there. Front headlock again from Morvari. Beautiful counter by Lee.
Morvari still has the neck, though, of Bobby Lee.
Nice short dump from Lee, puts Morvari on his back. If he can get that head free, pin the wrist, might be able to score with the double wrist lock and finish Morvari.
Get on top, brother. Get on top. Let's go, Bobby. Fight that underhook. Get up.
He's looking for it.
Keep coming
but
around.
Morvari gets his hand free. Now he has a head outside single.
Bobby Lee's corner saying, no, no, don't get up. Stay on top of him.
Bobby, we need a hand fight.
That's Morvari. That's on top of Bobby Lee now. Under a minute to go. Third and final round.
Elbow lands clean. Taking the back of Lee now is Morvari. He's got one hook. That left hand creeping across, trying to find the neck of Lee. Morvari trying to find the body scissors down there. Instead going one hook in, one hook out under the back of the knee of Lee.
Bobby Lee hanging on. And again, Ashkan Morvari now posturing up. Riding him, got the back of Bobby Lee.
He was trying to mount Lee. Lee turned, gave up his back. Morvari went right for it again. I just don't think there's enough time to find the finish, but what gamesmanship from Morvari.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of professional mixed martial arts, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Sheely scores the bout 29-28 Morvari. Judge Vogel scores the bout 29-28 Lee. And Judge Nielsen scores the bout 29-28 for your winner. By split decision, Bobby Lee!